Imagine having to stand up for 45 minutes in your classroom because there aren't enough seats. Or having to go to detention because you're a couple minutes late for class.
That's reality at Roosevelt High School in East Los Angeles. With over 5,000 students, it's the largest in the country. We'll see how United Students, a part of youth organizing communities, are working with the new administration, teachers, and the community to reduce dropout rates and get a better education.
I got involved with United Students because I saw how they were working to change the school system.
The education system wasn't working for me. I had to do something about that. And I just got to meet people I could relate to that see the same problems I do.
I was listening to them and all of a sudden everything started making sense, perfect sense. And then so I started going little by little until I figured out that this is something I want to do. This is something that I have to do.
Currently, the goal in East Los Angeles is to build student power to transform public education to make it accountable to the community.
Our basic aim is to give every student a voice by mobilizing them through education.
In our plan, the ultimate decision makers around the direction of the work are the students. Our purpose as the staff, who were all youth members of YOC, is to facilitate that change.
And what we should be doing up until then is building our support.
I became involved as a senior in high school. I started developing my own organizing skills. I became the coordinator of the United Students Club on campus at Roosevelt. Based on their input, I put together agendas and help facilitate the meetings.
So what do y'all think we can do to inform students about some of this stuff and then gain their support?
We have a meeting here. We assign assignments to each of us.
To really develop a larger base of members, we engage in outreach activities. The student leaders talk about the work that we're doing, ask them, what kind of problems they see at their school, encourage them that they can take a lead role and have a voice in making changes.
During all your periods, just ask your teacher, can I make a brief announcement? Or walking around to class, students you see, just oh, hey, stop them.
Also, was very effective was making posters, because I remember during Ethnic Studies Week, we had posters all over the place. No matter where you turned, there was a poster for United Students. So that was really cool.
Wear our shirts around school so they could see that we're part of United Students, and if they can get involved, they could get a t-shirt too, and start making buttons and stickers and stuff like that.
Students that are interested, they ask more questions. They go to some of our workshops.
A lot of students say we don't care, but when we find those students, we try to talk to them.
We've had a lot of teachers, Mr. Sid has been a big supporter. He lets us his classroom to do workshops.
There was opposition from teachers because some of the flyers that were used and some of the icons, and people thought that this was a really radical group. But as teachers got to know and even come to some of the meetings, they realized that they're just a group of students that care about their school and their community. I think a lot of teachers want the students to participate in the educational process.
Having a new principal is a big difference because she's Chicana too. She knows what we're involved in. She knows what our future plans are for a better school. And what she wants for students is what we want, a better education and a better future.
They approached me within the first few weeks that I was here. And they introduced themselves as a group that was primarily working to make better conditions for students at Roosevelt High School. I said I didn't have a problem working with them as long as they were willing to be part of the solution.
The survey that we took, it was asking students, what do you feel about your history? What do you think you're being taught in class? And also, we brought up the target room.
Somebody calls it a holding tank, where if a kid's late to class and he goes to the cafeteria and basically keeps you in there for the whole period, and then you're assigned detention hours.
I see them as a group willing to look at issues and resolve the issues, but making sure that they are also taking into account the total student body. Now, if there's only like 25, 30 of them and they're telling me they want to push this, well, this is not representative of the total school. But when you bring me data from surveys of 754 students, then it's something that I really need to take a look at.
The tardy room contributes to truancy at Roosevelt High School. One of those questions was, have you ever ditched class to avoid being held in the tardy room? 53% of our students said yes. Another question was, in your opinion, has the tardy room helped you to be on time? 85% said no.
Maybe it's time for a change in that tardy policy and what we're doing.
It'll be our goal of all the various people that are parents, teachers, deans, administrators, students from United Students, to come to a consensus on a really viable, strong tardy policy that's workable.
On the first part, students flagged based on extremity of tardiness. You would be marked for being tardy, and you would be summoned down to your counselor. They would talk to you and ask you why you're being tardy, rather than punish you for having a problem. Students that demonstrate lack of improvement in low attendance and 10 minutes to class are required to attend a life skills class like time management, try to help you come to school on time.
I think one of the great thing about the United Students Plan is that it goes all the way to the root of the student's problem. Why is he being late, or why is he being absent, or she? Trying to help the student instead of avoiding the problem and kicking them out.
Some of the recommendations they have come up with for the tardy room are very good. They need to know that we may not be able to do all of them because they require a lot of personnel.
When you're organizing with inner city schools that are under-resourced and underfunded is, demanding certain things, but the budget doesn't allow it. Part of what we have to do is be realistic within our demands, making sure that our demands are winnable. So if we want more classes in ethnic studies, how it is going to affect the rest of the curriculum, and finding ways to make it work.
United Students has accomplished a few goals. One, we got 2 Chicano studies classes implemented into a schedule. We got 2 more counselors. As of July, no more tardy.
We have been very successful in building a student movement to transform the quality of education there. We plan to take the Roosevelt model into the other high schools here in East LA so that it becomes a more powerful voice.
We worked with 2 LA Times reporters on 2 separate articles around education, and 2 of our United students were actually interviewed and quoted in the articles as well. Instead of having media be something that's out there, we need to use it as a tool to get our information out so that we can manipulate that and shift public opinion. Including creating your own video or learning how to come up with a web page or a radio program to, how to do sound bites, creating a media plan, and, putting together a press conference.
The video that I worked on talked about the problems at Roosevelt High School, what students have to go through. We want to use the video as a form of outreach to get the students involved. It has helped me with my activism work because through the videos I can express myself and I can express my concerns with the schools.
I think we all feel that we're not just doing this for ourselves, that we're doing it for the future generations to come.
Little cousins, little brothers, like family.
Or friends that we know that's younger than us and that they admire us for the accomplishments that we've done, and they want to make change also. So they'll come in and try to get more and more people.
They're just going to be like, well, they graduated, why can't we? We're going to set an example.
Before I had the mentality of, I'm just going to be pulled into a low-wage job. And now that I'm here, I'm like, well, I could do a lot more than that. I can go to college.
I didn't know if I was going to go to college or anything like that. So, but now I really want to go to college and get my education and get a future.
Don't listen to anyone else that's going to put you down or tell you that, oh no, you can't do it, and you don't have enough power. And if you feel that you can't do it at all, you shouldn't feel that way. Because if you feel deep inside that you want to change whatever problem exists around you, just do it.